So let's get started straight away. Welcome to today's weekly live show. Lots of faces that I recognize today, but if I haven't met you yet, my name is Laura Green. I am a yoga teacher, first and foremost, doing the same job you're doing in Lily. She's knocking things off the table. Based in Southampton, Hampshire. I've been teaching yoga for 11 years, full-time for 9 years. Took me about 2 years to build it up so I could stop my job. I am also a teacher trainer, so I run a 200-hour school in Hampshire and a business mentor and coach for yoga teachers. Today's topic is all about pricing, packages, value and money. Lily. She's just going to sit here till she knocks everything off my desk. Yes, so what should I charge for X is the most commonly asked question in this group. And Lily, she's going to have to go on the floor now. Stop playing with the tripod. We have already done a weekly live show on pricing, so if you haven't seen that, please go back and look at that one as well, because that's a slightly different topic about how you gather the information, how you come up with a price, and how we're charging for our value and our expertise, not just trading an hour of our time. So we already have a training on that, so feel free to go back and watch that as well. Today I'm coming at a more detailed viewpoint for this. So the impression I get when you're asking what should I charge for a private class, what should I charge for this corporate session, is that every time you're getting a request or someone's asked you, you're going back to the drawing board, that you're thinking then, rather than actually having set prices that you charge. If you were to go out for dinner and say to a restaurant, so what is the price for a 2-course dinner tonight? They're not going to sit down and think, oh, what should I charge that person tonight? They just go, this is the fixed price for a 2-course dinner. And you can either sit and enjoy that 2-course dinner, or you can decide that it's not a good price match for you and go on somewhere else. So having set prices really helps you. It doesn't mean that you can't adapt and change from them, for individual situations and circumstances. But this is what I really want to cover today, just having your base charges for certain things. So as I said, in that other video, we have broken down some of the mindset around pricing. But what I want to look at now is packages. So be this your packages for corporate class, for private classes, for group work. I suggest you have a 3-tier package. If you were to think about a wine list at a restaurant, when you look at a wine list in a good restaurant, there'll be about 3 different tiers of prices around the wine. There'll be the cheap and cheerful wine that is the house wine, about £5-6 a glass. Then you'll have your mid-range that's only coming by the bottle when you're probably looking at, late 20s, early 30s, £35 a bottle in a restaurant, not in the supermarket. And then, on the back page of the wine list, there is going to be those pricey bottles for when it's a real special occasion and you're spending maybe £70-80 on a bottle of wine. Now, the restaurant are giving you that choice, recognizing that each choice represents something different. Just going out, want a glass of plonk. Or, do you know what, I'm having a nice meal, I want something that's going to match with this well. Or, do you know what, it's a really special occasion, I'm going to treat myself to an expensive bottle. And they leave that choice to you as the customer. They don't worry about putting those bottles on the menu that are 100, 200, 300 pounds a bottle. They're happy to put them on there because they know of the intrinsic value. And they also know that they've put the house wine on there. So you can go for the cheap plonk. The choice is to you. Whereas if they'd just gone, you know what, I don't think my clients will pay for that expensive bottle of wine. I'm just going to put on my house wine. I'm just going to keep it really basic. They have removed the choice from the diner to have something more special. And this is what happens with us when we just go, well, I'd really like to offer like a good 75, 90 minute, even 2-hour one-to-one yoga class experience where I can really spoil my students. But you know what? I don't think someone would pay that, so I'm not going to offer it. You've removed the choice. Whereas if you clearly have a price list that explains the difference in each bottle, you're allowing your clients to make a choice. So let's put the wine analogy into actual yoga classes. So you could say, that you offer a basic 45 or 60 minute private yoga class. And, I'm talking about private, but this works for anything. Okay? And that is, they come to you or you go to them, whatever works for you. And it's just that you get my time for that hour. There's no added extras. There's no homework. It's just my full undivided attention for 60 minutes. There's no follow-up. There's nothing. It's just that basic 60-minute private yoga class for, let's say, £45. It's just a stab in the dark. I'm not telling you what to charge. Okay? It's a basic private for £45. But then you could offer a mid-range, which is a 15-minute phone consultation with you so that you can then tailor a lesson plan to them, 60 minutes of the class, and then a follow-up email that has the lesson plan and a recording so that they could practice in their own time, and that's £60. Just an example. Or you could have your expensive wine that is a 90-minute deluxe, you can use any word you like, yoga experience with you. It includes a 15-minute consultation for you to plan the session. Then 90 minutes of your time that includes a 75-minute yoga class and a 15-minute extended relaxation. As part of this, the class will be filmed so that they can practice it on their own. That just simply means you set up a tripod and a camera in front of your mat and then upload that to YouTube and send them the unlisted link. Or maybe it includes a personalized guided meditation or guided relaxation that they have the recording of and they can come back to. Now, how do you do that? Just before your student is going into meditation with you or is going into Shavasana with you, you ask them to unlock their phone. You find the voice recorder in their apps. Just as you're about to start the guided meditation or guided Shavasana, you press voice record. The end of it, you press stop, and then that recording is already there on their phone, so they can repeat the meditation, they can repeat the guided Shavasana. Now that has real value to it. A personalized 20-minute, 15-minute guided Shavasana that they can do between sessions. That has value, but it didn't take you any extra time because you were right there. You did it on their phone. So this is a great way of adding more value without making yourself more work. Or other examples, maybe that deluxe package includes a personalized aromatherapy oil that you teach them how to use in Shavasana and you leave with them. Or maybe, it includes an eye mask on the first session. Or maybe, I'm also a Thai masseuse as well as a yoga teacher. And maybe just on those longer 90-minute sessions, they're getting a mini Thai massage. Create these choices so that people can see basic, £45 an hour, super deluxe, £120. Just stab in the dark at those prices for you. Has to feel what's right for you. But give these choices. And human psychology means that they are much more likely to select the mid or the higher range package because people want to indulge themselves. They want that option. But if you only put out the really high option, they go, oh, she's really expensive. If you only put out the budget option, you're still probably going to end up over giving. giving those things of extra value, but not charging for them. So packages work really well. Iffy, who's currently doing my mentorship program, we worked this through with her because she is a yoga teacher and a nutritionist. And she was finding that people were in their private yoga classes with her, tapping her up for all that nutritional information without really paying her for that. So again, we create her a package. £45 basic yoga class. I can't remember what we made the mid package, I think something like 60, was yoga class plus nutritional support during the session. And then we did £120 for a yoga class, recipes and a meal plan. And the very next time someone inquired with her, a couple of days later, about a private class, you know what plan they selected. They selected the £120 plan. Okay. So there's nothing to fear here because you're still giving the option for the budget plan. Okay. Now, that method could be adapted to a corporate class. So, there's a really cheap offer where it's £45, led on Zoom. They rock up, you rock up, it's just £45. Or you could create a 6-week corporate yoga course that is specifically designed for the needs of the employees at that company. Okay? Or a package where they're given a weekly yoga class and then 3 15-minute videos uploaded to a membership site that their employees have access to between the sessions. So many things you can put in for added value to encourage those hourly rates to go up. Then, once you have worked out these 3-tier packages, you need either a page on your website that is your prices, or if that's too techy, doesn't matter, create a Word document and save it as a PDF that is your price list. Think how used to the world is of price lists. It's nothing new. And when you see a price list as a consumer, it gives you this sense of confidence that that person hasn't just plucked out the prices, but they have been set up to be of value. So whether you're doing that on a PDF or on your website, have a prices packages page. Adjust the words, but between us, basic, intermediate, expensive, but make that, nicer, nicer language than that. So when someone says to you, what do you charge for X? You can say, I'm just going to send you a link to my prices and packages. Have a look at those, see if anything fits with you, but also we can have a conversation to talk about your specific needs. So I'm equally not cutting my nose off to spite my face. I'm not going, here are my packages, that's it. I'm saying, look at my packages, see if that suits you. If not, we can talk about something more tailored and bespoke. Okay? Then when you do run this situation, when you are in a consultation with someone and you are talking about your prices, don't make decisions on the spot. Okay, it's really easy to be put on the spot. If you're confident, fine. But if you're new to pricing, just give yourself breathing space. You know, say, okay, I'd love to have a conversation with you about what prices and packages I can offer you. Then you have a phone conversation, a face-to-face conversation. Really try to avoid email when you're talking about prices and packages. And then in that saying, tell me what is it you're looking for, how much time do you want, what kind of support, do you just want the classes or do you want support out of the classes? Then when you've gathered information, someone's already seen your prices, so they know what you're going to be coming up with. Say, okay, so thank you for today. Give me some time to reflect on this and I will send you a proposal. And a proposal can simply be an email, but just buy yourself that time so that you're not on the spot pricing. If you then do find yourself going back to negotiate prices, a key thing in negotiating prices, some of you might know this, some of you might not, if you're here with me live, can you just type these into the chat for me? When it comes to negotiating, you go in with 3 price points in mind. See the recurring 3. Like, intend, and must. Please can someone type that for me? Like, intend, and must. So your like is the rate that you're like, I'd really like that. It feels like a fair, good, solid rate. It feels like my worth. So for instance, if someone was asking me for a one-to-one corporate session, I would probably start at about £200, okay? That would be my like. Because in all honesty, if it's at their venue, I'm gonna have to plan it. I'm going to have to drive there. I'm going to have to arrive 15 minutes early to set up. I'm going to be teaching the hour session. I'm there 15 minutes to pack up. I then have to be doing the admin and the invoicing and always following up the invoices because corporates never pay on time. So really, that's a good 2 hours of work plus with drive time. So my like, what I honestly think is fair for going to teach a corporate session is £200 a session. That's my like, and that's where I want to see our industry get to. But I'm very aware that not a lot of people and companies are ready to pay what we're worth. Some of them really will, so I'll then have my intend. Okay, so it'd be great if you paid me my worth, which is £200 for the session, but you know, my intend, what I really want to come away with is £150 for the session. Okay, and then have your must, which is your bottom line. It is the place you would walk away. If you are not prepared to pay me a minimum of X, this isn't worth my time because I could be doing something else with that time. And that's what you've got to always be thinking about. What else could I be doing with that time? Okay, you know, when you're thinking about group classes, after you've got a group class established, I really want you to be aiming for a minimum of £100 profit from running a group class. And that's not hard. That's 12 to 15 paying people. So if a corporate session is not prepared to be paying you £100, you could be teaching a group class in that time. Okay? Whereas they want you to tailor something to their corporation. So they need to understand that. So for me, my like would probably be 200, my intend would be 150, mine, and this is personal, walk away would probably be 100, okay, for an hour corporate. Now, I am not telling you you have to take those figures. You know, I've been teaching a long time, I've got a solid reputation here. Your like, intend, and must might be £100, £65, £40. Okay, that doesn't matter. It's the mentality that you go in at your worth. And some people will pay that. And the more people that pay you, the more you'll start to educate yourself around what is a fair rate for the work we do. Okay, but equally, you know what your walk away is. And you have to have that walk away. Otherwise, you end up in situations where you're teaching a class for £20, you're driving 30 minutes there, you're there for an hour, you're driving 30 minutes back, and you start resenting it. And then that means when you walk into the class, you are not in the right headspace, and you're not doing service to yoga and the students. So teaching something for an amount that feels too little for you is not going to do anyone any service in the long term. Okay, so let's dial back. Lily is now on top of the piano. They're still feeling the full moon energy, I promise. Right, let's dial way back. Set your rates. Set your rates and have 3 levels. Have a page on your website or a PDF that is your prices and your packages so that you don't have to be starting from scratch every time. Get really clear on what is the added value at each level and add value in ways that isn't adding you a lot of time. So if you lesson plan for your private, photograph it, give them the plan. film during the private parts of the session. Even if it's just like the warm-up or a couple of poses. Record in the session on your client's phone parts of a meditation or a guided relaxation. So all these things are adding value without adding time. Things such as shavasana massages, aromatherapy, any additional skills you have is an added value. So if you're a yoga teacher that just does Reiki, if someone books you for yoga, they haven't booked you for Reiki. So don't just add it in. Give them a choice to have a 60-minute yoga, which includes 15-minute Reiki in Shavasana, 15 minutes. Don't just bundle it in. Don't let them get all of you without paying for the additional added value, okay? Then, when people ask you for your prices and packages, say, I'd be delighted to work with you. I actually have these listed on my website here, or I can send you a PDF. Have a look. Then let's have a phone call to see if those packages work for you or if you'd like something more bespoke and tailored. Bespoke and tailored, that doesn't mean if those prices don't work for you, negotiate me down on the phone. Okay? It's just opening the door for discussion if you'd like something more bespoke and tailored. And then when you are negotiating, buy yourself time. If possible, don't commit on the spot. Thank you for the information. I will reflect and put a proposal together and send it you within 48 hours. I'll then follow up with a phone call. Do not negotiate in email. Okay? And then when you negotiate on the phone or face to face, Lily, don't fall off the piano. Like, intend, and must. And one more thing. Negotiation is kind of my wheelhouse from when I was in recruitment. Silence is golden. This is the most important lesson in negotiation you will ever learn. Say your rate. So we're at that like. Thank you for connecting with me today. My price for offering you this service will be £200 for the session. Then silence. Okay? Silence. Until that person responds. Okay? Because what happens, Helen's just put silence is golden. This is what saved my business and made it super strong. 100%. 100%. This is such a powerful lesson. What happens this is negotiation in life, is we say what we want, we execute our boundaries. I'm afraid I don't have any available sessions for a one-to-one this week. My next sessions are next week. And then we watch the person's face and then we go, oh, actually, do you know what? I could maybe fit something in on Sunday morning when we were protecting our Sunday. Okay? We fill the gap and we reduce our boundaries. Okay? So say what you want and then say nothing. Then that person will come back with their answer and then you can move on from there. Okay? This is a really fun game to play with people who also know the game. I love playing this game with like estate agents, car sales people, and then you can end up in the silence for a really long time because they know the game and they are waiting for you to fluster and lessen your offer. So it's a good game, it's a good skill. So practice it. Nobody I hate negotiating, it's fun, but it pushes me out of my comfort zone and then afterwards I feel good. But in the moment I'm like, oh, can't you just look at my prices on my website? That doesn't mean we don't do these things. Last week a school wanted to reduce my price. I stood firm and then he said he was embarrassed for asking as he could see the value. It felt awkward asking. My God, Liz, that's amazing. So I'm just going to read that again. Oh, it's just gone off my screen. So Liz said last week a school wanted to reduce her price. She stood firm and then he said he was embarrassed for asking as he could see the value and felt awkward asking. If Lise hadn't stood firm, he would have negotiated her down on price. Okay? So be okay in that uncomfortable awkwardness. It gets easier with time. All right. Thank you for putting up with my naughty kittens running around. Thank you for joining and being present today. I am off to run my weekend retreat now. I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you back here next Friday.